This is Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week.
You're watching the American Conference on ESPN on this beautiful night in Hartford. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's as part of Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week. And the opener for both these teams, Taysom Hill and BYU, leading 28-7. They will kick it off to UConn. So the Huskies, down 3 touchdowns, will get the ball to start the second half. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell back with you, and here we go. So the return for Fox and the Huskies trying to get to the left side and near the 20, but that's about it. So UConn will get the ball to start the half. And I don't know if that can give the Huskies any momentum, Danny. Look, we knew BYU came in a little more than a 2-touchdown favorite in this game, so we knew on paper this is a little bit of a mismatch. Even by those standards, BYU played really well.
Yeah, and it all revolves around Taysom Hill. His execution, I've really been impressed with his development as a passer, making excellent decisions. And the only thing BYU has done that they can improve on is just penalties. They need to eliminate those, and you look at a close to flawless performance. UConn, on the flip side, they're killing themselves as well. They need to eliminate penalties, try to get a little bit better execution on the offensive side of the ball as well.
Max DiLorenzo, first carry of the half for UConn. Speaking of the Huskies, let's check in with Allison Williams.
Hey, Dave, I talked to head coach Bob Diaco at the half, and he maintained the positivity that I saw from him on the sidelines throughout the first half. He said the same thing that Danny did. They have to clean up the penalties and the turnovers. Not happy with the 2 turnovers. The penalties, especially on special teams. So they need to clean those up. But otherwise, pretty satisfied, and he liked the way defensively they were able to somewhat contain Taysom Hill when he was running. He said they do need to stay in their coverages, though, because it's a passing plays that become explosive plays.
Somewhat would be the key word there, because Taysom Hill was pretty good. How about that? And now another flag after the play. Jeremy Davis with the catch for 16 yards. Whew. We are headed towards some kind of night.
After the play, personal foul. Late hit, defense number 5. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Alani Fua called for the personal foul.
I mean, I don't think it was that bad. I mean, he came in a little bit late. I don't think there was any ill intent. These officials are calling a tight game, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, certainly not malicious. But what does that make? 12 penalties for 110 yards against BYU in the first half, plus a minute. DiLorenzo squirts through and into BYU territory. Across the 45, down to the 44. It'll be second down.
UConn offensively, they've had their moments. They had the scoring drive before the half. Starting to find a little bit of a rhythm. I think they've got some positive things they can build on. Casey Cochran has thrown the ball well. Of course, the one critical mistake in the red zone under pressure through the interception, but some bright spots.
And we have seen both quarterbacks. Cochran plus Chandler Whitmer has also played. Play fake and under pressure. Cochran along the sideline. And really, I think he just threw that one out of bounds.
Yeah, not much there.
Sean Fox was out there. They have 2 good receivers. If they can get some protection up front, those guys, Fox and Jeremy Davis, can make some plays. To UConn offense, look, Bob Diaco, the new head coach, he's got a defensive background. And he wants his offense to be fairly pro style. He wants to use the run game. He doesn't want to be a real true hurry up offense. The offensive coordinator, Mike Cummings, who has known Bob Diaco for a long time. 3rd and 6 and a little pump fake. Nice delivery there to Davis for the first down. Another 16-yard completion.
Nice read from Cochran. Talked about, you know, what you can do, things to build on. Cochran, nice job reading the corner. Route to Jeremy Davis, the corner on the outside, jumped the short route. Just a little high-low read for Cochran. Saw him hit it.
So UConn on the move, and you said it. Look, their last possession, not including the one with about a half a minute to go before halftime, but the last full drive, they got in the end zone before the half. Now Cochran will be sacked, and that is big Bronson Kafusi with his first sack of the night. The junior from Provo, his dad, the defensive line coach on this BYU team, and he can play.
Kafusi just coming off the edge. Just beat the right tackle, Dalton Gifford.
Well, there's Dad, who technically now is not his position coach. Last year he was. Bronson Kafusi now working with the linebackers, but you will see him as sort of a hybrid outside linebacker, defensive end, a very good athlete. Okay, who spent a year on the BYU basketball team and looked like a football player playing basketball. Here's a completion, right side. Davis again inside the 30 and then knocked out of bounds. A gain of 5 to bring up third down UConn. Jeremy Davis is a good player. Pushed out of bounds by Jordan Frieder. Having to play a lot of snaps tonight, but Davis from Georgia. Last year had a breakout kind of year. He should be one of the best receivers in the American.
Problem is they need somebody on the other side to develop as well, or else BYU's defensive game plan, which has been to roll over the top and give defensive backs a lot of help on Jeremy Davis. Everybody's going to do that, so you need somebody else to emerge as a legitimate threat as well.
3rd and 11, and another pressure, but Cochran gets rid of the ball, and the tight end McQuillan along the sideline for a first down. That was a nice delivery under big time pressure.
Yeah, BYU brought some pressure and good heads up awareness. Casey Cochran knows where to get rid of the ball quickly. A little bit of a busted coverage by BYU. Just kind of lost Sean McQuillan in the flat. And that's big. That's a confidence booster for UConn. This drive, if they can finish it, you know, Bob Diaco, he was optimistic. Something to kind of keep them hanging around in this game.
So 12 yards when they needed 11 for the first down, and they'll shift in the backfield. It is Ron Johnson, true freshman, as the tailback. And Johnson gets a good block on. Cochran scrambling, and he's going to try to run and gets popped. Wow. The big hit there. Zach Stout against the quarterback for a short gain.
You know, all the conversation about quarterbacks learning how to get down. This is one way you'll learn pretty quick. I mean, he kind of was in between. He looked like he wasn't sure if he was going to slide or not, and then he got drilled.
And Danny, I said Cochran, after the pass completion inside the red zone, they brought Chandler Whitmer in. So that was Whitmer, the second quarterback, and UConn does want to use Whitmer in this part of the field. So number 10 on 2nd and long. Back to pass, pressured again, and he's going down. And Kafusi right in the middle of it with the help from the safety, Sky Povey.
They brought Sky Povey from the corner position all the way from the outside to the left side of your screen. And that just puts a lot of pressure on the back and picking up protection. They brought one too many. It's so tough for a right-handed quarterback to see that corner blitz from your left-hand side. You'll have to pay attention to the safeties and see them cheating so you know that corner's coming.
So a loss of 5. It's 3rd and 14, right back outside the 20-yard line. Whitmer looking right, rolling right, and just nowhere to go with the ball. And instead of throwing it away, he takes a loss of a few yards, which when you're in field goal range, not a good decision.
I totally agree with you. I mean, he could have easily flipped it out of bounds, saved your field goal kicker a couple yards, which this, you're kind of, you know, you're on the edge of a territory. You're going to make this a little bit more challenging. You want to give him every advantage you can, even if it's just a couple yards closer.
Well, they took Cochran out of the game after he got him down into position, and then Whitmer just could not get anything going with that pressure from the BYU front. So Bobby Puyol will attempt his first field goal of the year. It's a 40-yard try, and it's a fake. Rolling right and out of bounds with nowhere to go with the ball, and that doesn't do UConn any good whatsoever. BYU gets the ball back. So they tried the field goal fake, and it did not work. Blake Feagles.
Well, why not throw it up? Just even if it's thrown up for grabs.
Yep.
I mean, if it gets picked off, who cares?
And that's probably what Bob Diaco is saying. So we'll take a timeout. BYU gets the ball back up 28-7. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's as part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. In the third quarter, BYU with a 28-7 lead over UConn here in Hartford. And after the fake field goal try that did not go well for the Huskies, BYU gets the ball back. And Taysom Hill having a huge game with a play fake on first down. Time to throw, and he's going deep this time, and a flag is thrown as Mitch Matthews, the receiver, was just mauled by Javon Williams. And I'm assuming that's against Williams.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6, automatic first down.
Not going to get away with that one.
No, they ran a double move. Mitch Matthews on the outside, and Javon Williams jumped it. He fell for the fake, and then all he really could do was just grab him. And you can see a lot of contact towards the end of the play.
Well, I mean, in some ways, if you think it's going for a touchdown, might as well commit the 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
If you really beat, that's a better result than a 70-yard touchdown play. Nifty little ball handling to get it out to Algie Brown from Taysom Hill. And close to a first down, but pushed out of bounds. So a 7-yard gain on first down for Brown. I think he's been pretty impressive. BYU is playing without their star tailback, Jamal Williams, who has a chance to have a very big year. He is sitting out this first game, violation of team rules. And they really have not missed a beat. Hand off this time, Adam Hine getting to that corner, and he gets the first down, pushed out of bounds right around the 44-yard line.
I think you look at it, what's impressive is the depth. And that was something BYU really was a focal point, was developing depth because of the amount of plays. They play so many plays from the line of scrimmage that they want to be able to run guys in, shuttle guys in and out, and put such a stress on teams defensively.
Hill comes up short, intended for Jordan Leslie, incomplete, second down. Well, last year was the first year BYU went to the true up-tempo, no-huddle, all-the-time offense, and that's true what you're saying. They, at the end of the year, they really felt like it took a toll on their own team. So they did it on purpose, but this year that's a big focus. The play fake. And another short pass. Algie Brown tackled immediately for a short gain. This is kind of what we're talking about. Last year, almost 90 plays per game. Only Texas Tech per game ran more. The year before, 79 plays a game. Well, they were already fairly up-tempo.
Kicked it up with here, though.
They did. And for a while tonight, it looked like they were trying to kick it up even more. Halfway through the third quarter, third down. Taysom Hill dumps it off, and it's complete for a first down and a broken tackle by Jordan Leslie. Good effort by Leslie. Inside the 45, down to the 42. First down, BYU.
Jordan Leslie just coming on a crossing route, and this is accuracy right there. Taysom Hill is able to keep him on the move. He's able to catch it, make a couple yards after the catch. Pretty good defense, too, by the UConn.
12-yard gain. Here's Paul Lasike with the handoff, and he is met in the backfield. Good tackle by Kenton Adeyemi, the redshirt junior from here in the state of Connecticut. This time a play fake, and that quick hitter right over the middle. Mitchell Juergens with the catch, and the first down, BYU. Coverage of the FIBA Basketball World Cup begins on Saturday. It's Team USA against Finland, a preliminary round game, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. And no time to breathe. Here comes BYU. Hill Makes a move inside the 20. Good open field tackle there for UConn Ellis Martyr. 7-yard gain, though, for the Cougars quarterback.
How tough is that to stop, though, for a defense? Because they've ran that same play about 3 or 4 times just on this drive alone. Several times you've seen Taysom Hill flip it to the outside in the back. UConn makes the adjustment. They cover that little swing pass, and then he cuts it up the middle.
This time they give it almost on a flanker sweep, fly sweep kind of play to Mitchell Juergens. Not a huge gain, but good enough for a first down, 5 yards, and move the chains again. So BYU on the move.
Pretty good no call. I think they just got their feet tangled a little bit.
Obi Melifonwu, the safety, with the coverage. Bob Diaco's coached a lot of good defensive backs, told us he's got a chance to be one of, if not the best safety he's ever coached. High praise. Again looking for the end zone. Again contact. And no penalty flag. Incomplete. Trying for Jordan Leslie.
See, the officials who called such a tight game earlier, letting them play on that one. Pretty good call. Again, both guys fighting for the ball.
BYU 4-9 on 3rd down, 3rd and 10. They dump it off Lasike, and he cannot break that tackle. Nowhere to go. Good play. Graham Stewart, the linebacker. It's 4th down, and BYU likely will kick. So Graham Stewart with a nice play. Trevor Sampson. This is his first year as the primary place kicker. Justin Sorensen was a 3-year kicker for BYU. 33-yard attempt from that left hash. The kick is hooked and no good. So short field goal try, no good. And guess what? UConn is hanging somehow in this game.
Yeah, they're fired up over there on the UConn sideline, too. I mean, the reaction they're getting is, hey, we're catching some momentum. Let's see if we can capitalize on it.
So Bob Diaco trying to get the troops going. UConn trailing 28-7.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Visit ESPN Fan Shop powered by Dick's Sporting Goods for your officially licensed fan gear. And Wendy's. Nighttime now here in Hartford at Rentschler Field, the home of the Connecticut Huskies. UConn trailing 28-7. 4:46 to go. BYU in the 3rd quarter. Another good drive, but a missed field goal. So UConn gets the ball back. Casey Cochran rolling right, and he'll throw down the field, and it's incomplete. And some contact right as the ball got there. Intended for Noel Thomas. 2nd down. Dallin Levitt with the coverage.
Good break on the ball by Levitt. Just timed it perfectly. See him getting just enough, hitting him. I think a couple of those plays for UConn, they've been so close from getting a big pass play, and they just can't come up with it. And if you want to fight your way back in this game, you have to make those types of plays. A little bit better throw, a little bit better catch from Thomas.
Oh, ball's over there. UConn going to the line of scrimmage. They found the football. On 2nd down and 10, Cochran throws short, and it is complete, but not a great throw. It'll be 3rd down. Let's check in once again with Allison Williams.
Well, Casey Cochran was named the starter largely because of his intangibles. Coach Diaco felt like he could best serve this team as the starter because of his leadership skills. And I have to say, I like his demeanor on the sideline, guys. A lot of times he's gone man by man down the bench, slapping their hands, knocking them on their helmets, making sure they keep their heads up.
Well, we talked to Jeremy Davis, the star wide receiver. He loves Casey Cochran.
Yeah. I think you got to look at what he started last year. He was 3-1 as a starter last season. Had a game where he set a school record, 461 pass yards versus Memphis. And the big reason Jeremy Davis loves him is because he likes some AC/DC. I don't even know if Jeremy Davis knew what they sang, though.
Penalty flags, and man, the whistles came very late. That play ran for several seconds. But apparently a
prior
foul.
to the snap. False start. Offense. Number 78. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, you got to blow the whistle a little quicker than that.
Protect the players out there.
So the false start against Dalton Gifford, the junior right tackle.
some problems along the offensive line, and we knew that for UConn that was going to be a spot against this BYU defense that could be trouble. So 3rd and 12 after the 5-yard penalty, and not a comfortable spot deep in their own territory. But you're down 28-7. UConn's got to be aggressive. Final 3+ minutes of this 3rd quarter. Cochran from the shotgun steps up and delivers. Caught. Nice pass. Great catch. Kamal Abrams, first down.
Dave, what I just say, you have to make those tough catches in tight windows, and that's a great throw from Cochran. Pushing the ball vertically down the field. They haven't been able to stretch the field at all. Kamal Abrams just out-muscles number 7, Sky Povey for BYU.
So just about a 25-yard pass play. They got to the line quickly. Josh Mariner gets the ball on the handoff on first down and goes backwards.
Just to echo what Allison was talking about with Casey Cochran, does look very comfortable. He's kept his composure. He's taken some big shots, but he looks in complete command out there. I mean, he looks very comfortable as a leader on this team and in the huddle, in and out.
One thing, he got in better shape.
Yeah, yes, he did. Bob Diaco told us he was up to 243 pounds with 30% body fat, and that was the #1 priority for not only Casey Cochran, but for the entire team. Get in better shape.
You got to be in better shape than the broadcasters if you want to quarterback a team.
That's right.
And I think now Casey Cochran is.
Yep.
Tommy Myers with the catch, the tight end. For a gain of 4, it's 3rd down.
Yeah, Casey Cochran went from 30% down to 13% body fat. 243 down to about 218. So
and that was just in the in the wintertime. Yeah, he did a good job in the offseason. His dad, a very successful longtime high school coach here in Connecticut, so he grew up around the game. On 3rd and 8, Cochran throws, and he's got a man, but he overshoots Jeremy Davis. I don't know if there was a window there, but Davis was open.
Yeah.
Incomplete.
A little bit more touch on the pass. BYU brought the corner blitz again, but this time UConn picked it up nicely. Jeremy Davis trying to find a little window to settle in between that corner and safety. Tough throw to make, got to kind of drop it in there just perfectly.
So 4th down and the punt for Justin Wayne. And UConn, Bob Diaco, he works personally with the punters. A running fair catch called for and made by Keanu Nelson for BYU. And that sends us to a timeout here in Connecticut. Taysom Hill gets the ball back. When we come back, BYU up 28-7. Celebrating its 10th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. Since 2005, Allstate has donated more than $3.4 million in scholarship funds. Well, Taysom Hill and BYU, they get the ball back, and Danny, Taysom has done a nice job moving the ball around in this offense.
That's what makes this offense so tough to stop. You pick one element to take away, and they find another area to expose.
And then he can do that in the open field. He is tough to bring down. He got 10 yards and the first down on that carry. He's up over 70 yards rushing. He's 22 of 28, 229 yards passing, 3 touchdowns through the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. Not bad. Play fake. And he will throw the ball almost back across his body to the tight end, Devin Mahina, for a nice gain across the 40 out near the 45, 8 yards. So 2nd down and short. Hill from the shotgun in this no huddle look, and the pass dropped. Algie Brown looking downfield. It's incomplete. 3rd and 2. Well, on Saturday, tomorrow, Jameis Winston and #1 Florida State against Oklahoma State at 8 Eastern on ABC. That Cowboys classic from Arlington, Texas. Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo at 8 Eastern on ABC. And I don't know, Seminoles defending champs, big favorites in that game. Now the ball comes out. Algie Brown with the fumble, recovered by UConn, and the Huskies are going to get the ball back. BYU had a first down, but Reuben Frank comes away with the ball. And a turnover for BYU, letting UConn hang around in this game.
So look, see Algie Brown trying to do a little extra, comes out.
Well,
boy, Reuben Frank got wrecked at the end of this right there. He kind of timed it up. But hey, that's a big turnover for UConn. I mean, they got a long way to come back, but they're just kind of hanging around. I think BYU, I think Bronco Mendenhall's probably got to be a little bit frustrated. They haven't been able to just really go for that knockout blow.
And Algie Brown's got to do a better job. That was not a big hit. Here's Ron Johnson with the first down carry.
Yeah, just a little bit sloppy with the football. And now you see Casey Cochran back on the bench. Chandler Whitmer in at quarterback for UConn. So the quarterback carousel starting up for UConn.
The final 20 seconds or so of the third quarter. Chandler Whitmer going to the huddle. I don't know if UConn will get a playoff.
And they're not even going to try. Count it down, give their defense a break.
Well, 28-7, that was our halftime score, and a stalemate in the third quarter. So UConn trying to hang around. Bronco Mendenhall not looking as happy as he did at halftime. 28-7 BYU. Start of the fourth quarter here from Hartford. BYU with the 28-7 lead. Anything goes on Friday night, and we sure hope that's the case throughout our college football season. Chandler Whitmer for UConn looking downfield and just heaves it downfield. There was some contact, but the ball was thrown out of bounds. So it'll be 3rd down and 8. Well, 2-quarterback system, and UConn has stuck with that plan of using both guys.
I'm not a huge fan of it, especially, I mean, like the one drive we saw where mid-drive, you know, they pulled Casey Cochran when they got to the red zone. They inserted Chandler Whitmer. It's just, to me, it seems so hard. You're in a rhythm, and then you come off the field, or if you're Whitmer coming off the bench, you've got to come in cold and step right in the middle of the huddle. I think it's really a challenge, but that was the game plan for UConn. That's what they want to do.
Lots of room to improve this year for UConn on 3rd down. Pressure from the corner spot. Whitmer gets away and throws it downfield. The pass, BYU thinks incomplete. We've had no signal, and they say caught. 1st down. Everybody was looking at everybody else to make a call. Alec Bloom, young tight end, with a nice catch. And UConn would like to get to the ball, get to the line of scrimmage, and snap it.
So they can't look at it.
Ooh.
Snap it quick.
Yeah, what are they waiting for? Oh, waited too long.
I don't understand why more teams don't have a fire call where they just get up, snap it. I don't care if it's quarterback sneak.
The ruling of completion is under further review.
You got to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Get the ball snapped and keep moving. Because I don't know, that first look, I thought the ball might have hit the grass. Let's take a closer look. I mean, doesn't that look to you like the ball's on the ground?
Yep.
Sort of rattled around.
Is there enough evidence, though? Can you see it hit the grass?
Well, they're going to take a look up top, and while they do that, we'll take a quick break and be right back here to Hartford. 28-7 BYU with the lead here at UConn. They reviewed the last catch on the field, and Danny, the ruling is the call stands. It is a catch.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Alec Bloom, there was a question, maybe it hit the ground, but he looked like he had control all the way through. from both looks that we had it.
Well, you and I may have to disagree on this one, but I think the key is with that review, right? It has to be clear and convincing to overturn the call on the field. So if you think maybe that hand was under the ball and it didn't squirt out, well, it's a catch. So UConn keeps the drive going. First down inside the BYU 40, and Johnson, the carrier on the right side, tripped up very nicely. Good play by Craig Bills. So Bob Diaco watching his offense on the field. UConn has, I mean, they have done some positive things on offense. The mistakes, the turnovers, the penalties have hurt them. A fake field goal that didn't go well. Whitmer scrambling and going nowhere. Sacked. So the sack for BYU. Look at Jeremy Davis, their big play wide receiver, headed back to the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, he was their best offensive weapon coming into this
After
game.
the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 5, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Wow, that's just a stupid penalty right there.
Alani Fua, one of the leaders of the BYU defense, after the sack, commits the personal foul.
Comes up, taunts a little bit. I know he's fishing for something. I mean, you just can't do stuff like that. I don't agree with it. I mean, I think they should let him have fun, and if it's nothing, you know, it's not like he gave the throat slash, but it's point of emphasis. The officials don't want to see any taunting. They're going to call it. Can't have any kind of pre-programmed dances or celebrations.
Put the fishing rod away.
Yep.
Alani. First down UConn, and the short pass. Ron Johnson inside the 20, close to the 15. Good enough for another first down.
Look at these young backs. That's been a positive for me for UConn, and Ron Johnson and Arkell Newsome. Josh Mariner. They've got some young, talented backs.
I haven't seen a lot of Arkell Newsome. He had a big play early in the game. Ron Johnson's gotten some touches, but Newsome, a guy they really like.
I think part of it's too is you got to remember these guys are young. It's tough in the pass game. You know, it's easy to give a guy a couple plays, but pass protection, picking up blitzes, that's what always takes guys a little bit longer to learn.
Yeah, that's a good point. Where you're playing from behind, where just about every down is a passing down. Whitman, where that looked like a design keeper, and I don't know, did he have him by the face mask? I guess not. Whitmer was making a little gesture. Michael Elisa, converted running back.
Well, they gave him the edge. I mean, they're basically saying, all right, the quarterback's got to beat him, but Elisa just came unblocked and came clean, and that's one where you're hoping your quarterback has the speed to shoot that gap, and he really didn't have any opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and it was definitely not a face mask. I think the gesture that Chandler Whitmer was making was for a horse collar.
Yeah.
And it was close to that, but there was no flag. That's the first time we've said that all night. 2nd and 12 here for UConn. So Whitmer flushed and threw that one toward Johnson, basically throwing the ball away.
They were trying to set up the screen. Here's one look at that last play where Whitmer, you see the right hand of the jersey, he's got to let go. He pulls him down to the ground. So that is, by definition, that is a horse collar.
The hand might have been on more of the shoulder pad than really in that collar.
That was right in the back of his neck.
Might cut him a little slack there. 3rd and 12. Well, Michael Elisa, good story. A guy who's played running back most of his career. Now a linebacker making a big play. So big play here for UConn, down 28-7. Play clock winding down. Down to 1. They get the snap off. Whitmer looks left, and it's incomplete. And he threw it behind his intended target, Deshaun Fox. Would have been short of a first down anyway, but incomplete. 4th down, and we'll see what UConn does.
Hopefully not another fake, the way that last one worked out.
Good coverage from Michael Davis. There was a 40-yard try set up that turned into a fake, which did not go particularly well. So we'll see if Bobby Puyol gets a chance to kick one here. Bobby, who a couple years ago attempted 1 field goal and made it, redshirted last year. Now he's the primary place kicker this year. The whistle's blew before they set up what will be a 35-yard try from the right hash mark. the kick on the way, and it is good. So Bobby Puyol puts 3 on the board. UConn cuts down that lead after a drive and a field goal. Bob Diaco happy about that. 28-10 BYU.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery, and in part by Firestone Complete Auto Care. Keep your car running newer, longer.
Beautiful shot of the state capitol building here in Hartford. UConn at home against BYU, down 28-10. 11:48 to go in this one. And UConn, after the 35-yard field goal, will kick it off back to BYU. Cougars jumped out to a very quick 14-0 lead in this one. And since then, it's been a closer, competitive game. UConn's moved the ball reasonably well.
Yeah, offensively sputtered a little bit. Taysom Hill, who lit it up, has cooled off somewhat second half. I think Bronco Mendenhall is probably talking to his team right now saying, hey, we need to, just like he did before half, he told Allison, hey, we took the momentum back. They need to do it here.
Kind of a low line drive kick, and it's going to kick out of bounds. That will be a penalty on the kickoff, so that will give BYU good field position.
That'll drive you nuts as a head coach.
Free kick out of bounds. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Let's check in once again in the studio with Chris Cotter.
Dave, an update on the Rocky Mountain rivalry between Colorado and Colorado State. Buffalo's Sefo Liufau finding Nelson Spruce 54 yards for the score. It's 10-0. Buffs on top. One close game. Syracuse right now with a 3-point lead over Villanova. That game you can see on the Watch ESPN app. And Michigan State rolling over Jacksonville State 45-7. Connor Cook, 3 touchdown passes in the first quarter in this one, guys.
So no surprise with Michigan State. That is a surprise, though. Syracuse, I think, of Scott Schaefer's second year, hoping for a big step forward.
Yeah, and you look at that. I mean, that's when you look at conference-wide. You know, the ACC has been kicked down, and yesterday Wake Forest losing to Louisiana Monroe, and if Syracuse got knocked by Villanova, that would not bode well for the ACC.
And by the way, they are asking UConn to re-kick as opposed to just taking the field position, which you don't see a lot of coaches elect to do that. Bronco Mendenhall very confident in his kick return team. But it'll be a fairly short kick. Paul Lasike to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, and hit there, and a flag flies in. And so that's against BYU. That was a bad decision to make him kick it again.
I'm a little bit perplexed as why he didn't take the ball on the 35.
So there were 2 flags.
Doing the return, holding, receiving team, number 30, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Only 1 penalty against BYU. The Cougars starting their year here in Connecticut next week. They've got the Longhorns in Austin. What do you think about the schedule, Danny?
It's a good schedule, not a great schedule. I think when you look at BYU, I mean, their goal ultimately is to get to the college football playoff and to play for a national championship. You know, Bronco Mendenhall was very open and honest, said we need to run the table. So they not only need to run the table, they need some help from their opponents as well.
Pass incomplete from Taysom Hill on first down. BYU ball here after that penalty. Not great field position, but yeah.
When I say, you know, their opponent, they need help. They need Texas. If they play Texas and beat Texas, then they need to hope Texas has a good year. Same with Virginia. Same with some of these other Power 5 schools. At Cal, they play Cal late in the year. They need all those opponents to be good so that they're seen as tough, impressive wins.
Hill on second down, throws short, and a big hit. Hine had the ball pop out, but after the whistle had blown, Jefferson Shiro's made some big hits for UConn's defense. Short of the first down. A gain of 8 to set up third down. That is the goal. BYU's a program with tons of history and recent success. And they think this could be a very special season. It's their 4th year as an independent. That makes scheduling a little tougher. Handoff and nowhere to go for Hine. So UConn's defense comes up with a stop. And this game has gotten a lot more interesting than it was, say, just a few minutes ago. Bob Diaco wants his defense off the field.
I'd be a little frustrated if I'm a BYU fan. I mean, you want to take care of business. You know, go out here, finish the game off in the third quarter. Instead, you're letting UConn build momentum, build confidence with every time they get a stop defensively or they put points on the board.
So it's fourth down, BYU punting. And sort of that running punt style from Scott Ariano. The ball bounces and takes a big BYU bounce all the way to the 20-yard line where it's touchdown, and UConn will take over. But BYU, big favorites in this game, and it has gotten more interesting here. 18-point difference with still 10+ to go. BYU out in front. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's as part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. And the BYU fans, I think a little bit of concern from those Cougars backers. It's 28-10. It was 14-0 right away. BYU looked like they were going to run away with this one. But UConn is not going away. Nope. Taysom Hill has had an excellent game, but the offense has sputtered the last couple times they've had the ball.
I would say Taysom Hill had an excellent first half. Yeah. It kind of sputtered a little bit in the second half.
Turnover, missed field goal, some penalties again. Cochran in at quarterback, and he'll throw complete. Along the sideline, that is Noel Thomas, the sophomore.
And you can see UConn with every play, they're building more confidence. They're feeling like, hey, they're starting to believe in themselves a little bit more. Casey Cochran, he's setting his back foot, holding that pocket a little bit stronger. There's just a little bit more bounce in their step, and it all stems from their head coach. I mean, Bob Diaco has been very impressive. His poise on the sideline has not looked dejected one bit. Kept a very positive outlook throughout the entire game.
12-yard pass play, first down UConn. Cochran under center. And a quick hitter left side for a nice gain. That's Thomas once again. Bob Diaco, who played at Iowa, was an all-Big Ten player at linebacker, has worked for Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. Defensive coordinator, was given the Frank Broyles Award for the top assistant coach in the country. Jeremy Davis coming back from the locker room. That's good news for UConn. He is their top playmaker on the outside. We'll see if they can get him back in the game. But Bob Diaco, another branch on that Hayden Fry coaching tree. His first year as the head man. Here's Arkell Newsome without a lot of running room on second down. Stopped, maybe a loss of a half yard. It's been a while since they got Newsome a touch. And he will come off the field for this third down play. Well, the clock continues to roll. UConn, there's not a lot of time left in this game. Plenty of time, 8:40 to go, but when you're down by 18 points, you got to take advantage when you have the ball. And that's tipped up and intercepted. Zach Stout with a flag down.
This could be a late hit on the quarterback, possibly.
So, as it stands now, it's a turnover, but
personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Again, we've seen just some foolish penalties. You know, we saw the celebration earlier. This time, you've got a couple steps. That's Levitt, number 2. And just lay off. Just run by him. You know, you don't have to hit him there. I know you want to get a lick on the quarterback, but in that situation, it's third down. You've got to stop. You're going to force the opponent to punt it, or even a turnover, better. And then you basically gifted the other team with a first down.
First down into BYU territory. The Cougars have committed 14 penalties for 140 yards. Cochran, his receiver, slipped as the ball came out. So it's incomplete, intended for Thomas Lucas. Second down and 10. But those penalties have been a huge part of the story. Clock stops, 8:25 to go.
And I think penalties, if you watch college football all day tomorrow, it'll be a big part of every game. I mean, teams are trying to eliminate them, but you would think, you know, by the time the second half rolls around, you're starting to solve some of those issues. And these are just kind of mental errors from BYU.
And I think that's a good point. Nice pass there, fitting it into that tight opening. Alec Bloom, the tight end, with his second catch. Just short of the first down. It's 3rd and short. I mean, a play like that late hit, first game, last game, that shouldn't matter.
No. You just have to be aware of the situation and smart enough to lay off.
So it's 3rd and 1, and look who's back. Jeremy Davis, the big play guy. Quick snap, handoff, and straight ahead running for the first down. Good play there. Josh Mariner, who is, I think he's done a pretty good job at tailback.
He has. A couple times in those tough yards, he's got a knack for just putting that shoulder down and running fearlessly through the hole. You know you're going to get hit by a big linebacker, and he just finds a crease and hits it hard.
Now UConn trying to give BYU a taste of its own medicine, going a little up-tempo. And the handoff up the middle. This time it's Newsome. And that's positive yardage, 3, maybe 4 yards, depending on where they spot the ball.
They have to pick it up. I mean, you mentioned it just a minute ago, literally with 8:30 in the game. Now it's down to 7 minutes. 19 seconds. The clock is ticking. They have to play with a sense of urgency if they want to come back and win this game. Not just make it close, but to win it. They need to start picking up the pace.
So Newsome stays in the backfield. Play fake. Cochran down the left side, incomplete. Intended for Fox. Just led him a little too far. It's 3rd and 7. Fox is slow to get up. Well, it does stop the clock. It's part of the problem when you're a slow tempo offense. You play from behind. It's not as easy to come from behind. And that's by design. UConn's going to be a deliberate offensive team. Now it's DiLorenzo in the backfield. Even on 3rd and 7, no shotgun, under center. Little pressure comes, picked up nicely though, and the throw is knocked up, incomplete. Jordan Preeter with good pass defense.
Jordan Preeter read that from a mile away. That was an exceptional pass breakup. It was a good blitz pickup by the offensive line and back in the backfield, but just tip your hat to Preeter. And now with 4th down, down 18, got to go for it on 4th down.
So that's what UConn will do from their own 32-yard line. 4th and 7. Cochran with some more pressure, throws middle, and it's caught. First down. Big play there. Demir Bradley hangs on, a gain of 15. 1st and 10 UConn.
Blitz pickup. It all started up front, and then the route outside, the combination coming on the in cut to Bradley. Perfectly thrown ball, but it all started with protection up front. Offensive line and back, an exceptional job picking up the blitz.
Here's Newsome up the middle, trying to squirt through. Still on his feet. That's some pretty tough running from the little guy. Markel Newsome gets down to the 10. That's 7 tough yards for the freshman.
This drive is beautiful. They need to finish it.
Yeah.
And they need to finish it soon because that clock is tick, tick, tick. It's ticking.
Yeah. So for UConn's hopes to win this game, 12th play of the drive coming. There are a lot of interested folks watching just because of the score. 28-10, but UConn on the move. Looking like a blowout. It is not a blowout. 2nd and short. Cochran over the top, and the receiver Bradley kind of got turned around, incomplete.
UConn trying to sneak in the back door.
And I don't know, would you consider a field goal now that you're close? If you kick a field goal, you're down 15. That's 2 touchdowns with a 2-point conversion. I don't know. You're down 3 scores. Bob Diaco, as a head coach, first-time head coach, you got to start to think about that right now.
Absolutely. You have to start thinking about that decision. I guarantee that's what's going through his mind right now as he's probably conversing with Mike Cummings in case they don't get a first down. What do you do?
Well, he's hoping not to have to make that call. Back to pass, and the throw is knocked down incomplete. There was some contact, but a good play on the ball. 2nd time on this drive by Jordan Preeter.
I tell you, Preeter is primed for a double move. Either you go double move against him or you go the other way.
So now the decision for Bob Diaco. And I don't see the field goal team coming on.
The way they're not playing with it, I mean, but they're not playing with any urgency here. I think they might even call a timeout and discuss this because, well, they got a play call.
Play clock down to 10. What a big play in this game. And now they will burn a timeout, which they don't want to do.
That's what I was waiting for because they got a long time wasted there.
So a huge play coming up. 28-10, BYU in front. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams here in Hartford, and a big decision for a head coach for the first time, Bob Diaco. 5:46 to go. Down 3 scores. I mean, it's a big difference, 18 points. But on 4th and 3, not kicking the field goal. They're going for it. Right at the 10-yard line. Casey Cochran, the quarterback, has stayed in the game this whole drive. From the shotgun. And a sprint left. Pressured. Throwing. Incomplete. Intended for Fox. And BYU's defense holds.
That's the tough part when you walk away and you don't get anything from that drive. You got to feel Bob Diaco wondered if they'd get that close down there with an opportunity to score a touchdown. That's the reason he took the shot.
And he stayed positive throughout this game. He's got a rebuilding program against a very talented BYU team. But that's a 14-play drive that comes up totally empty. And you have to make those tough calls. Look, a field goal makes it 28-13, but you need 3 scores, and they went for it, didn't get anything. You're still down 3 scores. Hill will hand off to Lasike, and now UConn, they got to stop, and they got to stop quick.
And this is where it gets interesting for BYU because now they have to play kind of out of their element. I mean, they're used to going up tempo, fast. Now they would probably like to use a little bit of the clock, slow it down a little bit, but they're no huddle. They don't care. They go no huddle. They might go a little bit slower, but they're still going to go at a fast clip.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to take some time off, but they're not doing it. Hill, short dump off, and Lasike has the first down. That's a big first down for BYU. They don't know how to huddle.
No, they don't. They never do.
But even if you, and your point sort of is, even if you don't huddle, you can still get everybody to the line, watch the clock wind a little bit. But no, with 27 seconds on the play clock, the catch. And we'll check in with the studio with Chris Cotter.
Dave, Danny, coming up next here on ESPN. Anu Solomon, the young quarterback there, recently named the starting quarterback at Arizona, getting set to take on UNLV. So it's Arizona UNLV coming up here in just a few minutes, guys.
Hill running the hurry up 18 with 4.5 to go. The throw downfield and wide open for the catch is Colby Pearson. Into UConn territory, right down to the 35, and the UConn defender, Byron Jones, is a very good player, is down and hurting.
I think for BYU offensively, the offensive coordinator, Robert, and you're probably saying, hey, we need to end on a good note. We need to move the ball some and execute late in this game and try to go for that knockout blow.
Well, that could be it. Byron Jones, one of the captains, a senior, very good student at UConn. And I think you're right. The offensive coordinator, you're looking under there, Robert and cannot be thrown. They had 28 at half. And here we are, 4:29 to go in the game, still stuck at 28. Now the whistle blows. Hill throws it right. Hine with the catch and shoved out of bounds. Well, it is interesting. There is no stall. There is no nothing from this BYU team. They're going. 9-yard gain. Hill is up over 300 yards now. 3 touchdowns passing. No interceptions. 70 yards on the ground. 1 touchdown there. He keeps it and out into the open. To the 15, to the 10, Hill inside the 5, touchdown. And the exclamation point for Taysom Hill and BYU. 26 yards to put the game away.
Just when you needed to get back into this game to kind of finish with an exclamation point, who do you expect to deliver? Taysom Hill started off so strong, a little bit of lull through the third quarter, but put the team on his back on that drive, and that's what BYU is going to need to have the type of season they're hoping for.
Extra point up and good, and BYU and Taysom Hill up 35-10. Well, ESPN, your home for college football on Saturday first, 5:30 Eastern on ESPN. Clemson and Georgia, that is a very big game. And then at 9 Eastern, Wisconsin, LSU from Houston on ESPN College Football, presented by Hampton Hotels. What a day tomorrow. BYU getting their season started here tonight, up 35-10 here in the fourth quarter. That Wisconsin LSU game, Danny, that is such a contrast in styles. Yeah. Those two conferences getting together on a neutral field, but very close to Baton Rouge. I guess there'll be a lot of LSU fans there. Short kickoff here from BYU. UConn with Newsom out to the outside 40 and to midfield. The freshman with a nice return. And while we have a second, let's go back to Chris Cotter.
Dave, we're just about 10 minutes away from Arizona and UNLV. Blake Decker getting set to make his first career start. UNLV coming off their first bowl season since 2000. Should be an interesting one in the desert. That's about 8 minutes away from getting started. And meanwhile, Villanova knocking on the door, trailing Syracuse by just 3 points right now, about midway through the fourth quarter in the Dome, guys.
So that's an interesting one. BYU back on defense here, 35-10. UConn gets the ball, and it's Casey Cochran throwing it incomplete. We were talking about that Wisconsin LSU game, Danny. How about some key matchups in that one?
Well, you got Melvin Gordon, who's obviously the focal point for Wisconsin offensively, and he's trying to make a Heisman run too. And Jamarie Rasco for LSU, really a critical component to their run defense. So that front seven is going to get tested by Wisconsin's run game. I mean, you kind of go in there, you know what to expect. Interesting for Wisconsin, only Gordon. But now Tanner McAvoy, the quarterback, brings a little bit of a run threat to it. So that's going to be a really interesting game.
I mean, he does, and I get it. Whitmer in at quarterback now, and he completes it to Deshaun Fox. So UConn on the move here, down 35-10. But that's a first start for McAvoy, not at home against LSU's athletes on defense in Houston. It'll be loud.
Think about it, though. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a quarterback who's strictly in the pocket versus LSU's speed and defense and the guys who can get after you, or a guy who can run around a little bit? I think that's a big reason why you saw that change. And Gary Anderson, he announced it a while ago. It wasn't like one of these game-time decisions. But I hear what you're saying, too.
Over the top and complete. Jeremy Davis with the catch inside the 10. So here comes UConn back. It'll be first and goal. A first-time starting quarterback. This is a good play.
That was a great play by Jeremy Davis. It's just, you wonder if it is a little too late for UConn. Really, I mean, that's the first big chunk play they've had vertically down the field. They just haven't had many big plays. They've had to do it the hard way, the long drives down the field.
So first and goal, Whitmer throws. Davis tried to adjust to the ball, incomplete. I was just surprised. Wisconsin has to go a long way from home. LSU is replacing a lot, I know, and they're going to start a new quarterback themselves. But Wisconsin goes in as a favorite in that game, and I don't know about that. Les Miles, has he ever lost a non-conference game at LSU? I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah. And you look back historically, what he did against Oregon, opening game a couple years ago. He's always started off with some impressive wins.
Well, let's put it this way. If Wisconsin goes in and wins, I will be very impressed. So third and goal here, Josh Mariner. BYU's defense tries to hold. Got about 2 minutes to go in this one. UConn, look, they're not they're not going hurry up here. They know that this game has been decided, but they want to get in the end zone.
Definitely. Want to try to build on something. Build some positives. Score in the red zone when you get the opportunity.
Whitmer rolling left and throwing, and it's incomplete. Intended for Davis. Even big Jeremy Davis can't go up and get that one. So Bob Diaco, he'll go for it again on 4th and goal.
Some positives for both teams tonight. And definitely for both teams, a lot to work on.
We've had almost 250 yards of penalties, and we've had turnovers. Timeout here, and so Diaco and company will think about this one with 4th down coming up. One last chance to add to their 35-10 lead. You know, a game, Danny, that we have not talked a lot about here tonight, and it's another big one tomorrow afternoon. Alabama gets their season started against West Virginia. That game in Atlanta. What are your thoughts on that one?
You know, everybody coming in was picking Alabama as the 2nd ranked team behind Florida State, expecting them to get the college football player, in large part because of Jacob Coker, the transfer from Florida State. Just people penciled him as a starter. A few weeks ago, you started to see, hey, Blake Sims, this is a real competition. Now, of course, Blake Sims is going to start that game. And there's going to be a competition that's going to play out. It's very similar to when A.J. McCarron was going against Phillip Sims. They had a road game, Penn State. They had to play it out. Somebody has to rise to the occasion for Alabama because they need it to clear itself up and have that firm leader in place before they get the Florida Gators in week 4.
Well, 4th and goal and incomplete. BYU stops UConn again right near the end zone. And that should do it. I mean, we'll see if BYU continues to run that hurry up. With 1:50 to go, you would think they would not. Hard to predict this offense, but BYU will get out of here with a win, and I think they'll have a lot to be satisfied about. And it's not even going to be Taysom Hill. Christian Stewart keeps Hill on the sideline. Taysom will finish with 308 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 97 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on the ground. So the senior Christian Stewart will hand the ball off, and a carry for a short gain. Well, Alabama, even last year with A.J. McCarron, their opener was not real pretty.
No. You know, Dana Holgerson's going to have something up his sleeve offensively to test Alabama. And Clint Trickett, the quarterback,
he better be ready for some blitzes.
Yeah, that's right. Came out with the news that his first kiss was Nick Saban's daughter.
You can't say
clarify.
that.
He clarified it and said they were 6 years old and it was innocent. So he did, at least he cleared it up.
You can't lay that down, though, and then expect not to see some full-on pressure. 2nd and 9, and another handoff here. So BYU content to just run the ball and let the seconds tick down. Well, the Cougars have to go to Texas next week. That'll be a very different test. UConn, as you said, they showed some positives here tonight, but this is a rebuilding program. I guess you could sort of say that about the Longhorns, but expectations, talent level, a whole lot different.
Definitely, and it's BYU only has a couple opportunities on their schedule to really make a statement that the country would say, hey, and they'll turn their heads, and that's one of them, is going into Austin and beating Texas. That would turn some heads for sure.
So the handoff, straight ahead running on 3rd down. Final 15 seconds here. BYU has themselves a season opening win. And the Cougars fans who are here, there are plenty of them, can start to celebrate. Bronco Mendenhall, some stuff to clean up, but a nice all-around performance, and BYU gets the 35-10 victory in the debut for the new head coach for UConn, Bob Diaco. So Taysom Hill with a big performance to start his 2014 season. We will see a lot more of that as the year rolls on. BYU with the convincing win on the road. Now we're going to send it to Tucson. UNLV Arizona is the matchup that follows us as everybody gets to midfield and shakes hands. Mark Neely, Mike Bellotti, Chris Davenport standing by in Tucson. 35-10 our final. Good night from Hartford.